Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. So, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed or just, a bit intimidated by all the constant hype surrounding artificial intelligence right now, you are in the exact right place. Today, in just about 7 minutes, we're going to strip away all that complicated jargon, completely ditch the sci-fi myths, and reveal exactly what AI actually is.
Okay, let's dive into this first big question. When you interact with tech today, whether you're just asking your phone a question or having some software draft an email for you, it can honestly feel like magic, right? It kind of feels like there's this tiny thinking little brain inside your device. But we really need to break that illusion right off the bat. AI is not a robot personality, and it is definitely absolutely not a thinking mind.
Instead, it really just comes down to this. AI is pattern recognition turned into action. This is literally going to be our anchor for this entire explainer. Seriously, if you can grasp this one single sentence, almost all the confusion around artificial intelligence just clears up instantly. It isn't thinking, it's simply finding patterns.
Section 1. Breaking the illusion. From magic to mechanism.
Think of it a bit like a busy tea stall. The guy serving tea doesn't need a huge, long explanation every single time a regular customer walks up. After seeing thousands of orders, he just naturally starts noticing patterns, right? He knows who wants extra sugar, who prefers ginger, who usually grabs 2 cups. He isn't consciously memorizing some massive file cabinet on every single person. He's just recognizing patterns and acting on them super fast. Well, AI does exactly this, just with vast amounts of digital information.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Inside the pattern engine, how AI actually learns.
So think about traditional programming, which is basically human learning by rules. It's like reading a recipe. If X happens, do Y. Pretty straightforward. But AI learns entirely differently. It learns from examples. It develops its experience just by seeing tons and tons of past cases. You don't hand it a strict rulebook. Instead, it literally just looks at a mountain of data to figure out what kinds of inputs generally lead to what kinds of outputs. Which means, of course, it's really only as useful as the data you feed it. To really picture this, imagine a little kid looking at a fruit basket. That child learns what an apple is by seeing its shape, its color, its size over and over again. They definitely don't learn by reading a strict academic rulebook on fruit botany. They just build a feel for the pattern. AI works in that exact same direction. It builds a feel for patterns simply by being exposed to countless examples.
But here's an absolutely critical point. AI is not just a giant notebook perfectly copying and saving the past. Instead, it compresses patterns. Think about it like packing a suitcase for a trip. You don't pack your entire bedroom, do you? No way. You choose the essential items that represent what you're going to need. And the exact same way, AI completely discards unnecessary details and captures the underlying structure of the data so it can actually respond to new situations.
Because it works off these compressed patterns, AI is essentially making educated guesses based on likelihood. Think of the autocomplete on your phone, or, a really close friend finishing your sentence. Your friend isn't literally reading your mind. They've just heard your speaking style enough to make a highly informed guess about what you're going to say next. AI is doing exactly that. It's estimating the highest probability, not reading your mind.
And this brilliantly illustrates how all these pieces fit together. You see, AI is a complete system, not just one single magic trick. Step 1, examples go in. Step 2, patterns are learned. Step 3, probabilities are estimated. And finally, Step 4, outputs are produced.
You can kind of picture this entire system like a big water filter. Raw, messy information flows in, it passes through that learned structural pattern we talked about, and a cleaner, much more useful result flows out. But, and this is key, always remember, the quality of the signal going in strictly determines the quality of the output coming out. Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Which brings us to Section 3, turning patterns into usefulness, the real jobs of AI.
There are basically 4 core jobs of AI. First, we have classification, which is just sorting things into groups, like filtering out your spam emails. Then we have prediction, which is estimating what comes next. Recommendation, like suggesting a video you might like. And generation, producing totally new text or images. On the surface, these look like entirely different abilities, right? But honestly, they are all just different faces of the exact same underlying guessing engine.
Let's ground this in a highly practical example.
customer support in banks or telecom services. Every single day, they get thousands of messages about lost SIM cards or payment issues. AI doesn't know the individual customer, but its incredible speed allows it to instantly sort and route massive volumes of these repetitive requests just based on language patterns. It literally turns a completely chaotic inbox into an organized working system.
Now for Section 4, Boundaries and Limitations. Smart, but not human.
Think of AI like a flashlight beam. A flashlight is brilliant at illuminating a very narrow, specific area, but it doesn't light up the whole city. AI works inside super strict boundaries. Just because it shows incredible skill in one specific task, like, say, writing code, does not mean it automatically understands how to do everything else in the world.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the mental shift it requires from us. Think about a calculator. It reliably produces the right math answers without actually understanding what arithmetic is, right? Well, AI is incredibly similar. It can be highly useful and produce amazing results without possessing even a single drop of true human comprehension.
And this total lack of human comprehension is exactly why your input matters so much. If you walk up to a shopkeeper and just ask, "Where is it?" you're going to get a useless, vague answer. But if you ask for walking distance to a pharmacy, you get a highly useful reply. AI needs a clear, direct signal to work with because it doesn't just create from thin air. It simply responds to your prompt based on its learned patterns.
Because it relies entirely on those patterns, AI actually has very clear weaknesses. It really struggles when a situation is highly unusual, when the data provided is incomplete, when the underlying pattern is just too weak, or when a task requires deep, real-world common sense. So AI is a fantastic support system for thinking, for sure, but it is absolutely not a replacement for human judgment.
Finally, Section 5, a new mental model, using AI with confidence. So the crucial point is bringing back our anchor quote one last time. AI is pattern recognition turned into action. The magic box has officially been opened. We now know for a fact it learns from examples, it compresses patterns, and it makes probability-based guesses within very real strict limits.
Which brings us to our final thought. The very next time you encounter a new AI tool or read some wild, sensational headline, don't ask if the machine is thinking. Instead, empower yourself by asking this one question. What pattern is it using, and how well does that pattern fit this specific task? By asking that, you're no longer just passively consuming the hype. You're actually evaluating the technology with total clarity and confidence. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep looking for the patterns.